from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, local child abuse prevention advocates say the coronavirus pandemic here at home is having a perfect storm, is creating one. More on what they're doing to protect kids.
Is President Trump hinting at a possible rift between him and one of the top health experts on his coronavirus task force? I'm Alex Perche in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And taking a live look outside with live cam, you can see the camera shaking a little bit. It is windy at 54 degrees for now.
And it is chilly out there too. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is April 13th, and Stephanie Serna is in with us this morning on the early edition of GMSA. How was your weekend?
Pretty good. Nice Easter weekend. Can't complain about the weather.
Oh, not at all. It looks like just about everything came true weather-wise as we talk now with meteorologist Mike Osterhage. I left the windows wide open when I went to bed last night. Woke her up around midnight. Shivering.
With the wind blowing in there, too. Because,
oh, it was howling.
Yeah, it was windy yesterday, obviously, and then because we had those westerly winds and dry air and all the ingredients came together, temperatures shot up in the mid-80s, and then really, I guess you could say the front actually moved through, and that's pulled down some cooler air. We're not done cooling off yet, and just kind of looking ahead, jumping to the end of the story here, the whole week is going to be staying kind of on the cool side, at least compared to normal, and boy, look at these temperatures. We've got 40s out there in the hill country right now, 44 Kerrville, 54 out at the airport. We've dropped down actually in the past hour, dropped down about 4 or 5 degrees. So we'll continue to drop down a little bit more as these winds out of the north to northeast, 21 miles per hour at the airport to 18 New Braunfels, 20 in Hondo. Then the gusts on top of that, 37 Hondo, 36 in San Antonio. And it'll stay windier this morning. Then things are going to sort of ease up later on this afternoon as far as the wind. Molds on the moderate side. That should continue to go down, given the fact we have such a dry air in place. Little bits of everything else. 58 at noon, 65 for high temperature. The normal high is 80. Yeah, and like I said, we're going to stay on the cool side throughout the rest of the week. Some rain chances later on as well. Details coming up. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. Good morning, sir. Hope you had a good Easter weekend.
I did, and hope everybody else had a good Easter weekend as well, Mike. And good morning to you. Good morning, everyone at home, and those hoping to head home soon as we take a look at the roadways. Things are off to a pretty good start early this morning, the Monday after. As we take a look, this is Highway 151 at 410, very nicely lit up there. And here's another area that's pretty good lit as far as the lighting is concerned. Highway 90 at Medio Creek, that's going to be out there by 1604. As you can see, those connector ramps looking pretty good right there. Highway 90 at 410. Moving over to Highway 90 in Nogalitos, no issues there. And 35 at St. Bamsey, north and southbound lanes 35 still running smoothly right now. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Marcus. New this morning, police looking into why a man was shot in the leg last night. It happened in the 2900 block of Rigsby on the city's east side. Now, police say they're still trying to figure out the details of exactly what happened. They say the victim claimed he thought he twisted his ankle and did not realize he was shot. But officers say they found about 15 bullet casings at the scene from 2 different weapons. The victim is in stable condition.
After a different and more isolated Easter weekend for most, the number of coronavirus cases in Bexar County continues to rise. Mayor Ron Nierenberg now says there are 772 positive cases of COVID-19 here at home. That's 49 more than the last report. The death toll now stands at 30. These numbers are only expected to rise as we continue towards the peak here in San Antonio.
And some local child abuse prevention advocates are calling the coronavirus pandemic a perfect storm. Children at risk of abuse and neglect are locked in homes with parents ill-equipped to deal with the stress that comes with the virus and its economic impact.
And some worry the longer the crisis continues, it will lead to other epidemics of child abuse and neglect cases. According to information by the provided by the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, reports of abuse and neglect at the statewide hotline are actually down by about 20%. But child abuse prevention advocates say those numbers are misleading.
I mean, the implication is that maybe child abuse is down. Right. And that's preposterous. We know that in these kinds of very tense, anxiety-producing times, that parents inappropriately will lash out at anyone around them, including children.
And while Family Protective Services say its investigators are still making in-home visits. They're also conducting some of that case work virtually. The best thing to do if you suspect abuse is happening, you need to call police. Remember, if you are aware of child abuse happening and don't report it, you could be charged with a crime.
Meanwhile, as the country battles COVID-19, New York may be seeing its death curve flattening, but those numbers are still staggering, and new hot zones are popping up in other states.
This as another fight about President Trump's administration's preparedness is unfolding in our nation's capital. ABC's Alex Presha has more from Washington.
This morning on the front lines, the newest crop of medical workers are ready for battle.
It wasn't an easy decision for everybody, but for me, it was the right thing to do. So.
Rebecca Noonan, now a doctor, chose to graduate from medical school 1 month early. She will join the fight in New York City, where the hospitalization rate is dropping, but the crisis is far from over. New York State's coronavirus death rate has been in the high 700s for the last several days.
That's the so-called flattening of the curve. It has been flattening, but flattening at a terribly high level.
Across the country, other hot zones are emerging. In Pennsylvania, the governor now predicting a surge in cases this week. Cases in Texas already surging. The governor there considering opening some businesses next week despite caution from public health officials. Several governors have been critical of the federal response, and a coronavirus task force health expert admits government inaction may have cost American lives.
If you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But what goes into those kinds of decisions is complicated.
The New York Times reports in a February 21st coronavirus task force meeting attended by Fauci and Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, it was decided they would soon need to move towards aggressive social distancing. By this point, China had at least 75,000 cases and northern Italy was closing public spaces. But the president did not announce those measures until more than 3 weeks later. During that time, the number of known U.S. coronavirus cases surging from 15 to over 4,000. The White House responding, saying President Trump took bold action to protect Americans and unleash the full power of the federal government to curb the spread of the virus. And overnight, the president continuing to defend his response, calling that New York Times report fake news. He also retweeted a message critical of Dr. Fauci that ended with the words, "Time to #fire Fauci." Alex Presha, ABC News, Washington.
4 people are being questioned following a shooting that left a man in critical condition. San Antonio police say the man was shot in the chest in the 2600 block of West Martin on the city's west side around 5 o'clock yesterday evening. SAPD says he and a woman went to confront some people over disputed property. Police say that's when a person pulled out a gun and shot the man. At last check, he was taken to Brooke Army Medical Center in critical condition. It's 4:37, 54 degrees.
Still ahead, thinking outside the box to get those much needed groceries. What some shoppers are doing to stay ahead of the curve.
And next, deadly tornadoes and severe weather sweep across the south, leaving behind a path of destruction. We'll take a closer look.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it is chilly at 54 degrees and windy. Grab that jacket if you have to head out. We'll be right back.
In your morning headlines, parts of the South are in shambles this morning after deadly tornadoes and severe storms. Several twisters tore through Mississippi and Louisiana this weekend, overturning vehicles and damaging hundreds of structures. Numerous deaths are already confirmed by the Mississippi State Emergency Management Agency. Officials in Monroe, Louisiana say at least 200 homes are damaged from the storms. Residents there are still being advised to maintain social distancing due to the pandemic. In Alabama, at least 1 death was reported, and about 64,000 people are without power in that state due to the storms.
The world's biggest energy producers are finally ending a brutal price war. OPEC and its allies have agreed to cut oil production by nearly 10 million barrels a day. Now, that's the largest amount ever in its history. The deal comes after weeks of Russia and Saudi Arabia driving oil prices down to their lowest in more than 18 years. The 2 leaders, along with President Donald Trump, say they are satisfied with the agreement.
The Food and Drug Administration authorizing the use of a decontamination system for N95 respirators. Those are the devices healthcare workers can use to protect themselves against the coronavirus. The FDA says more than 6,000 hospitals already have the decontamination system. In total, they could clean up about 4 million respirators per day. This is the 3rd such emergency authorization from the FDA. this year. 442, 54 degrees.
And still ahead, some shoppers are getting creative when it comes to keeping their kitchens stocked during the pandemic.
And next, how University Health System is using a new process to make sure their nurses and doctors are as safe as possible.
And with long lines and some supplies short at supermarkets, some shoppers are getting very creative to stock their kitchens. ABC's Becky Worley has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, thinking outside the box to get those much needed groceries. This may look like a convenience store shelf, but oh no, it's a restaurant.
Selling these provision items is a great way to give back to the neighborhood that maybe can't leave their house right now or doesn't want to leave their house. While they're ordering food from us, they're able to tack on a lot of the grocery items.
Local restaurants like this pivoting to sell grocery items that would otherwise be used for serving diners.
Get Panera delivered today.
And even big national chains joining in. Panera opening a grocery pickup and delivery service out of their noted bread restaurants. Another delivery option seeing growth, meal kits. Blue Apron telling us subscriptions are up dramatically. Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you more creative sources for your grocery supplies. Plus, Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran joins us live with her financial advice. With your GMA First Look, I'm Becky Worley, ABC News, Oakland.
I started building.
Communities across the world are facing unique problems during the pandemic, and one big issue hospitals facing is keeping supplies stocked.
So University Health System has a new process to reuse their supplies like masks and ensure their nurses and doctors are as safe as possible.
Max Massey shows us a hydrogen peroxide process allows each N95 mask to be worn by the same healthcare worker up to 4 times.
We are sanitizing or sterilizing our N95 mask using the statewide hydrogen peroxide vaporizer machine.
This is the way it works. It seems very simple. These masks go into a bin, they're then picked up, then the sterile process department takes them to the STERRAD. The STERRAD is a sanitizing machine. Then it gets run. Dr. Tommy Austin, the chief nurse executive for UHS, found that they could safely reuse these N95 masks once they're sterilized with the hydrogen peroxide process. This process that the hospital already uses for their surgical equipment.
As a nurse, you spend a lot of time with the patient. You bathe the patient, you make sure they get oral care, you're there for their emotional support. That is the individual in the room the most. Especially if the patient is in isolation, the nurse does everything.
And this new process at UHS is really helping out with morale. Nurses and those on the front lines know that the equipment, the PPE and the face masks that they use are clean and they're safe.
Since we've started the sterilization process, the staff are less fearful of us running out of PPE. I think a lot of caregivers are concerned about their safety.
Not only does it help the staff feel better, but it helps UHS preserve their stock of PPE. And they tell me protecting their workforce must be our top priority during their crisis. As for Dr. Austin, she has a message for our community.
Please stay at home. Do everything that your government officials are telling you to do. Stay at home, stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, and keep your family safe.
Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Good advice from head nurse.
That's right. 448, 54 degrees. We're going to talk to Mike in just a moment.
But let's go ahead and talk with Marcus Trujillo for now. How does it look out there?
Well, so far, Marcus, Stephanie, things look pretty good out there. So as we take a look at the roadways, you can see that the map shows everything in the green. That means everybody's moving at least at the speed limit. Hopefully not too much over. Nice wide open roads in most spaces. So just kind of watch that speed limit once you head out there. 35 at Samsey, no problems there. Moving over to 10 at Crossroads, you can see traffic eastbound and westbound, no problems there. Then north and southbound lanes at 281 there at Grayson look pretty good. 37 at Jones, the camera turned a little bit to show the downtown skyline there. Things look pretty good. And then 410 at Austin Highway, we just have a handful of vehicles out there. No slowdowns there. I-10 at Hildebrand and finishing it off 10 at Woodlawn. You can see the upper and lower levels of north and or east and westbound lanes look pretty good there.
Thank you, Marcus. Somebody has sent us in a picture here that is worth seeing.
So cute.
Everybody's, little ones are so cute, but is this adorable or what? This little bunny, my first Easter. Take a look at it. This is little Abby. Look at those cheeks.
Somebody's having a good time.
Oh, gracious.
Thank you for the pick, Gladys.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you very much. It was a little bit different yesterday. Everybody's celebrating Easter, social distancing, but still got to celebrate and take great pictures like that. Thank you very much for that. Great way to start the day. Also, it's a great way to start it with when you step outside this morning. Of course, we had the dry air move in first of all yesterday, and that's why the humidity really dropped off. Very comfortable, but that allowed temperatures to surge up into the mid 80s. Then the cooler air has started to work its way in here. So we're down to 54 right now, actually just a little bit below the normal low temperature, mid 40s in the hill country, but temperatures have continued to drop off. Bone dry air out there. Dew points are down in the 30s throughout most of the area with clear skies. That's allowing the heat to escape. Now, obviously, we still have good wind out there. Northerly wind 21 miles per hour at the airport, 22 Austin, 20 in Hondo, gust to 37 in Austin, and 36 out there at the airport. It's going to be windier in the first portion of the day, and then the winds are going to continue to kind of ease up later on this afternoon. We'll still have a breeze out there, and the humidity is going to be staying on the low side as well over the next couple of days, with these winds primarily out of the north to northeast. So that's going to allow temperatures to be very cool in the morning. I think we'll drop down into the upper 40s this morning with that cooler air being pumped on in, and that's going to be the case the next couple of mornings, about 10 degrees below normal. Now, the humidity is going to stay low throughout the rest of the week, and then it's going to finally start to come up in toward the weekend, and that's when we get our next chance for some rain. There is really nothing going on out there. Of course, we had some of those very strong storms late Saturday night that worked their way across the area and continue to work their way on through here. And the nice weather came in behind that. And of course, there was the severe weather in the deep south yesterday, and that same system is going to be producing severe weather well off to the east today. Now, as far as anything coming up over the next couple of days, really nothing out there, but we get in toward the weekend. Like I said, that's when we start to see the chance for some rain. Temperatures, this is the middle of April. It is 9 right now in Casper, Wyoming, 22 Bismarck, 11 in Cut Bank, and the wind chill right now in Cut Bank is 3 degrees, if you can believe. So this is the cool air that's going to be sort of sticking around for really arguably most of the week, because like I said, temperatures are going to be on the cool side of normal throughout the rest of the week. So today at noon, 58 degrees, still going to be kind of breezy, plenty of sunshine, a great looking day today. And then later on this afternoon, that's it, 65 degrees. So we're going to be 15 degrees below normal. Northeasterly wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. I don't think anybody's going to be complaining about that at all. And then we go into the next couple of days, and it's going to be cool again tomorrow, down into the 40s. Same thing Wednesday morning, upper 60s. A couple more clouds here and there, mostly more clouds on Thursday. And then notice how the low temperatures really stay up Thursday into Friday. And that's when the humidity comes back in. Some showers Friday, showers Saturday, and more sunshine on Sunday. But yeah, Sunday's finally going to be above normal. That'll be the first day.
Nice week, though.
Really good looking week.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike.
Time right now is 4:53. We're still at 54 degrees.
And coming up next today is a big anniversary for the famous African famine relief anthem, We Are the World, that starred a variety of musical acts and topped the Billboard pop chart.
Did you know that Mike Osterhage was there? He's in the background. Like, you look at Lionel Richie, you go back about 16 rows, he's way on the left.
It would be fitting.
Holding a Fanta.
Singing Lionel Richie's version of Hello.
Aww.
Right. Hello. You were there for so long, and then security saw you. Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 523, Fireball 3. Your daily 4 numbers, 4398, Fireball 4.
Cash 5, 10, 13, 21, 31, 33. Lotto Texas, we have 4, 5, 16, 24, 27, 40. And your Powerball numbers, 22, 29, 30, 42, 47, Powerball 17, Power Play 3. Good luck.
If you listen carefully to the song, you can hear
Mike?
security ushering him out.
And live from Zoom, it's sometime between March and August.
For the first time in its nearly 45-year history, SNL was not broadcast from NBC's Studio 8H in New York.
Saturday Night Live at home.
Cast members did their thing from home, performing solo bits with help from musical guest Chris Martin and host Tom Hanks, live from his kitchen. Technically, the show went off without a hitch. 35 years ago Monday, USA for Africa's famine relief anthem, We Are the World, top of the Billboard Pop Singles chart. The jaw-dropping talent lineup that included Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, Bob Dylan, Daryl Hall, Tina Turner, and many others helped raise $147 million for the cause.
I need somebody help.
55 years ago Monday, the Beatles recorded Help. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Mike's singing
Mike's
here.
singing Help. And it's sort of in tune. It's not bad. It's good effort, but he could use some help. Right now we're at 4:58, 51 degrees.
Still ahead in our next half hour, why Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf is saying he is very worried about more COVID-19 cases being reported at the Bexar County Jail.
Plus, Apple is sharing more details of how its COVID-19 contact tracing program will work.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this hour, Bexar County now rushing to coordinate better before the coronavirus spreads even further.
Plus, an update on when taxpayers can see their stimulus checks, whether it's direct deposit or by mail.
And outside with live cam, it is jacket weather again in South Texas as we take a look towards downtown San Antonio. Temperatures dropping to the lower 50s. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is April 13th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. So I actually had my jacket out ready to go, but then grabbing all my other stuff, I left it. And then my husband was actually awake. He was like, wait. And I'm like, I'm so glad he did.
Yeah, it's
yes.
definitely a light jacket, maybe a little like medium jacket weather this morning, Mike Osterhage.
Where do you see some of the numbers? Oh, yes, indeed. You want to grab a jacket if you are heading out, especially in parts of the hill country. So we got 41 degrees right now in Rock Springs, 51 here in town. We dropped down 3 degrees in the past hour, and there is a good wind out there. And take a look at, first of all, dew point's 37. Wind is out of the north at 18 miles per hour, and then gusting on top of that. Here's a graphic I thought we wouldn't be seeing until sometime maybe, late in the year. It's the wind chill. Yes, there's a wind chill to deal with out there. And look at these numbers. 36 is what it feels like right now up in Kerrville, 38 Bernie, and 46 in Bulverde. Of course, the formulas really don't come into play until temperatures drop down below 50, and so that's why there's no wind chill indicated here in town. But it is cooler than what it actually is. We've got northerly wind, 22 at New Braunfels, 14 Kerrville, 16 in Hondo, and then the gusts on top of that, 31 in Hondo and 26 out there at the airport. It's going to be breezier this morning, and then the wind is going to sort of ease up a little bit later on this afternoon. Molds on the moderate side, oak and mulberry and everything else are low. Maybe we're finally done with the oak pollen. That would be nice. With the beautiful weather and no more oak out there. Clear, cool, windy this morning. Sunny, cool, beautiful, beautiful day today. And tomorrow, a chilly start, still on the cool side in the afternoon, maybe 1 or 2 extra clouds out there. And then as the week goes on, we will be still on the cool side. Even high temperatures will stay below normal. We do have some rain chances that are going to be coming in here later on in the week. We'll start to see a bit more humidity, obviously, later on in the week and the first part of the weekend. But boy, just a fantastic, most all the week, just going to be fantastic. Details coming up. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. Anything big going on, sir?
Not yet, Mike. Things are still quiet out there, and hopefully they'll stay that way for everyone's morning commute. For those that do have to venture out, or maybe you're already out and you're handling the overnight shift, getting ready to head home. Right now, pretty much open road right now. So nice, smooth drive out there for most folks. Highway 90 at Military, you can see traffic in both directions running smoothly. No delays there at 281 and Hildenbrand. The roads are dry, but still watch yourself around those turns and those curves. And then looking at that unknown highway, traffic in both directions looks pretty good there. You don't need a name. Then 35 at Ben Singleman, still no problems. Marcus, Stephanie.
Thank you, Marcus. This morning, we continue to track the number of cases across Texas.
Right now, we are well above 13,000 confirmed cases. Our statewide death total is resting at 271 for now. Now, this after Governor Greg Abbott extended the disaster declaration currently in effect for all the counties in the state. That proclamation allows Governor Abbott to continue to waive state laws and directly respond to the outbreak. The numbers also show that more than 2,000 people have recovered from the virus.
Meanwhile, Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf says he is very worried about 2 more COVID-19 cases that were reported at the Bexar County Jail. During the latest briefing, Wolf confirmed a nurse and maintenance worker have tested positive for the virus. The county now rushing to coordinate better before the virus spreads further. Inmates and staff at the jail being required to wear a mask, but the judge says they're in need of more. Latest cases come after 2 inmates at the jail tested positive for the virus last week.
We're intensifying all our efforts, and we're probably going to see some more.
Those efforts include cleaning and sanitizing cells every day and magistrating inmates remotely. The judge also says inmates coming into the jail will be placed in separate pods for 14 days for symptom monitoring. Access at the Bexar County Jail remains very limited, and visitors are still not allowed.
Taxpayers can expect to see their stimulus checks any day now. The IRS has already started direct deposits. It's part of the $2 trillion stimulus package. Now, individuals will receive $1,200 and couples $2,400, along with $500 for dependents. Now, right now, the IRS is working on a website where you can check the status of your money. We have that link on KSAT.com.
It's exactly 5:06. New York, which has been hit very hard by the coronavirus pandemic, is starting to see good news as the number of new cases begins to flatten.
But other states are bracing for a surge while President Donald Trump sends out a tweet stating that a New York Times article on his slow response is fake news. Here's ABC's Trevor Alt with the latest.
The United States reaching a grim milestone over the weekend. Now the country with the highest death toll from COVID-19. More than 550,000 confirmed cases. At least 21,000 Americans have died. But New York, which has been the country's epicenter of the pandemic, could be seeing a flattening of the curve.
The apex isn't just an apex, it's a plateau. It has been flattening, but flattening at a terribly high level.
But other states predicting they're days away from their peak. In Massachusetts, the number of confirmed cases soaring by 21% over the weekend. 59-year-old nurse Maria Cryer quit her job at this life care center in Massachusetts, saying management had no experience dealing with infectious disease. She died this past Friday after contracting COVID-19. More than 70 staff and residents at the facility have been infected. 10 residents have died. Pennsylvania's governor predicting a difficult week ahead for his state after more than 2,800 new cases were reported Saturday. And now questions over the federal response. The White House task force's leading infectious disease expert admits government inaction may have cost American lives.
If you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But what goes into those kinds of decisions is complicated.
The New York Times reports in a February 21st coronavirus task force meeting attended by Fauci and HHS Secretary Alex Azar, it was decided they would soon need to move toward aggressive social distancing. By this point, China had at least 75,000 cases and northern Italy was closing public spaces. But the president did not announce those measures for more than 3 weeks. During that time, the number of known U.S. coronavirus cases surging from 15 to more than 4,000. The White House responding to that report saying President Trump took bold action to protect Americans and unleash the full power of the federal government to curb the spread of the virus. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
And right now it's 5:08, 51 degrees.
And still ahead, it's the latest loss due to the pandemic. No new emojis. Aw, sad face. We'll tell you why there's going to be a shortage.
Up next, how some of the major airlines are changing the way passengers are boarded during flights during the pandemic.
And yes, it's cold outside right now. It's cold for April. You can see the camera shaking from the wind, but you know, it's going to be a pretty nice week overall. We're going to check in with Mike for the full details in just a bit. And welcome back. It is 5:12. In your morning consumer headlines amid the pandemic, some new worries about pork supplies. Smithfield Foods reporting it will keep a South Dakota plant closed indefinitely. Now that's after it was linked to over 200 cases of COVID-19. That plant alone accounts for up to 5% of all U.S. pork production.
Delta Airlines is changing how it boards its planes now. It's the company's latest effort to curb the spread of COVID-19. Passengers will now board planes from the back to front, and flyers that will have to wait until their row is called. The idea is to have people interact less while getting to their seats. Delta says the change will stay in place through at least May 31st. First-class passengers will be able to board as usual.
And good news for people looking for something other than Easter candy to snack on. It's National Peach Cobbler Day. The largest peach cobbler in history was made at the 2007 Georgia Peach Festival. It took 90 pounds of butter, 32 gallons of milk, and 75 gallons of peaches to create. Hungry?
Yeah, and I'm not the only one, I promise. 5:13, 51 degrees.
And still ahead, Thor actor Chris Hemsworth is back in a new action thriller film that is going to Netflix very soon. We're going to tell you when it will debut.
And next, why the coronavirus pandemic is causing a shortage of new emojis.
Technology stocks extended their gains Wednesday.
That snack just sounded boring. Coming through. No photos, please. Bye-bye, Bland. Hello, delicious.
Rich, creamy, 100% real cheese. With Mini Baby Bell, snack time is saved.
Saved it.
Feel the clarity of non-drowsy Claritin and 24-hour relief from symptoms caused by over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens. Like those from Buddy. Because nothing should come between two best friends. Feel the clarity and live Claritin Clear.
Apple is sharing more details about how it plans to turn your phone into a coronavirus tracker. ABC's Kenneth Moten has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, tracking coronavirus contact with your phone. Apple and Google are working on enabling smartphones to tell you whether you've been exposed to the disease. It will use the Bluetooth signal on your phone, but the tech giants say it won't roll out for several months. And there won't be any new emojis next year. The nonprofit that oversees emojis says 2021 won't see any new ones because of the fallout from the virus crisis. But don't worry, there's a new set of 117 new animated emojis ready to be released in the fall. J-Lo and Diddy were back together again nearly 20 years after they broke up, joining forces in the fight against the coronavirus. The exes reunited virtually for Diddy's dance-a-thon on Instagram Live to raise money for medical supplies. J-Lo's fiance, A-Rod, even joined in along with many other celebrities, having a good time. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
I think it was fine until A-Rod comes in there just hanging out.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cute.
He was supportive.
He is supportive.
Yes.
They're a cute couple together.
Yeah, they are.
Let's check traffic right now, see how things are looking over there across the studio with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Supportive, or he just, hey, she's taken?
I didn't think about that.
As well,
you know.
yes.
Gotta wonder. Anyways, that brings up a whole nother list of topics.
Yeah.
Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, doesn't apply to anybody in this studio. Right now, as we take a look right now, Highway 151 at 410, you can see traffic out there starting to pick up just a little bit, really not much. But the good news is, look at all that lighting they have out there. So you'll definitely be able to see where you're going. The Highway 90 at Medio Creek still, no issues there. And 35 at Evans, traffic moving along fairly well. No problems there. I-10 at Hildebrand. Right now, eastbound and westbound lanes of I-10 still running smoothly, so that's the great news. No accidents. I'll just leave it with great news.
Okay, that's a perfect place to end it. Wow.
And
again,
pick it up with great news.
Another scene that looks like it could be ripped from the film Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that this morning.
Yeah.
Because yesterday we had such gorgeous sunsets, and after kind of some rough weather, around the area Saturday night. But look at how beautiful that picture is. The first clear sunset we've had in a pretty good while. Oh my goodness gracious. That's great. Thank you very much for that. And you're going to see a beautiful sunrise and sunset today because we've got nothing but really clear skies out there. But grab a jacket, however. 42 right now, Kerrville, 47 Helotes, 48 in Bulverde, 52 at Stinson and Port SA. Bone dry air out there. The drier air moved in yesterday. Dry air heats up a lot more easily than moist air does. And so that's why temperatures with those westerly winds that were, boy, shaking the trees yesterday afternoon. Temperatures skyrocketed up into the mid 80s yesterday, and now they've dropped off and will continue to drop off. Winds out of the north to northeast at about 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. Got some wind gust to 31 in Hondo. It was gusting to 37 just last hour in Hondo. And wind chill temperatures. Yep, we're talking about that. 33 in Rock Springs, same thing at Fredericksburg, 35 in Kerrville. Once temperatures get below 50, then the wind chill formulas come into play. We're going to continue to keep some dry air around here for the next couple of days, which means we are going to have a lot of sunshine, a couple of extra clouds here and there the next few days, but cool temperatures in the morning and then staying cool in the afternoons. And no huge surge back in temperatures with these winds, dew point temperatures, with the winds mainly staying out of the north to northeast. Now, once we get into the latter part of the week and toward the weekend, yes, then the humidity in the dew point is going to be coming up. And so that's going to help, though, to lead to some more rain chances around here. As far as the satellite picture, there's nothing going on. Just a quick note. Yesterday, it was just wreaking havoc here in the deep south with the severe weather, and that system's working its way off to the east, and they can expect severe weather along the Atlantic seaboard later on today. Back to us, and next couple of days, like I said, tomorrow maybe a couple of extra clouds hanging around here, one or two more on Wednesday, and then a lot more in the way of clouds on Thursday. Friday, we have a chance for some rain. That's going to extend into Saturday as well. But like I said, overall, this week looks fantastic. We're not going to get to above normal temperatures as far as low temperatures are concerned until probably Sunday. 58 degrees today at noon. Sunny, absolutely beautiful out there. And later on today, 65, which is 15 degrees below normal. And tomorrow, about the same situation, 48 degrees starting off, 68. Obviously, some areas are going to be even cooler tomorrow morning. Still in the 40s, and starting off Wednesday morning and Thursday mornings. We'll get up into the mid 70s then Thursday and Friday. More clouds around here. Rain chance Friday and Saturday. But wow, fantastic start to the middle of April.
It sounds
Very
like
nice.
you might be okay with the idea of a car wash today.
That might work out quite well.
Okay.
I need mine washed.
I do too.
I do
All
too.
that yuck is done, so it won't mess up your car if you get it
Yeah,
washed.
it's okay. Well, the window is open to get our vehicles washed.
And you can open your windows.
Yeah, I know.
it's nice.
I was waiting for Marcus to say that. It took like all of 2 seconds. Roll your windows up when you run your car through the car wash. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? 522, 51 degrees.
And still ahead, our next half hour, people are picking up, update on the Marvel movies and the DC movies that were supposed to hit theaters this year. Why some say the films are still on to track despite the Hollywood shutdown.
Here are your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 523, Fireball 3. Daily 4 numbers, 4398, Fireball 4.
And Cash 5, we have 10, 13, 21, 31, 33. Lotto Texas, 4, 5, 16, 24, 27, 40. And Powerball numbers, 22, 29, 30, 42, 47, Powerball 17, Power Play 3.
Like other big films, Marvel movies are on hold due to the coronavirus.
But we have the next best thing. CNN's David Daniel explains in today's Hollywood Minute.
Move fast, stay low. Chris Thor Hemsworth is back in action in Extraction as a mercenary hired to rescue the kidnapped son of a crime lord. The action thriller is produced by Avengers Infinity War and Endgame directors and brothers Joe and Anthony Russo and debuts on Netflix April 24th.
Well, you know, it feels good. I love playing in this playground. And
James Gunn says his Marvel and DC movies are on track despite the Hollywood shutdown. Answering questions on Twitter, the director said DC's The Suicide Squad is on or ahead of schedule. Quote, "We were extremely fortunate to wrap shooting and set up editing from our homes due to a post-production team and studio with foresight before quarantine." Gunn says The Suicide Squad is still due out August 6, 2021, and that plans have not changed for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which doesn't yet have a release date.
Oh, that's
label man said, son, now can you sing a little bit more clear?
Sturgill Simpson's latest tune is not a happy one. The country star says he tested positive for the coronavirus. Simpson posted on Instagram his tour was canceled March 12th, and the next day his wife took him to the ER with chest pains and fever. But he says he couldn't find anyone who would test him until April 6th. Sturgill says he got his result on the 10th, and he's in quarantine until the 19th. Isolating in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
527, 51 degrees.
And still ahead in our next half hour, people are picking up the pieces after deadly tornadoes and storms rocked parts of the South over the weekend.
Plus, worship leaders locally and around the world get creative as they hold Easter services in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic.
And even if you're doing the best at social distancing, you still have to eat. So what can you do at home to make sure your food is safe?
We hope you had a great Easter weekend. It is Monday, April 13th.
Yes, thanks for joining us. And it was very nice yesterday for Easter for a lot of families who wanted to step outside and do a social distancing egg hunt.
That's right. The
today
sun
a little
was
chilly.
out. Yeah, and it was windy, and now that cooler air came in overnight, and it's downright cold in some places, right, Mike?
Oh, it is. We've got wind chills to talk about, believe it or not, this morning, which is kind of a rare occasion in this late in the season, middle of April. Yeah, yesterday morning we still had some humidity around, and then all of a sudden that dry air moved on in here, and that's why temperatures were allowed to soar throughout the afternoon, since dry air heats up a lot more easily, but then it doesn't hold in the heat very well, and so that's one of the reasons why we are cool. Yeah, it's 35 right now in Kerrville. That's the wind chill. 38 in Boerne, 43 in town, and temperature is 51 here in town. We don't have a wind chill to deal with as of right now, just because the formulas don't come into work when the temperatures are above 50, but it's definitely cooler if you're stepping outside because the wind is out of the north at 18 miles per hour, 22 New Braunfels, 14 Pleasanton. Wind gusts 31 still, 26, 31 in Hondo, 26 still out there at the airport, and 30 in New Braunfels. It'll stay windier this morning, and then the winds are going to start to ease up a little bit this afternoon. Molds on the moderate side. It should go down the next couple of days, given the fact we've got some dry air out there. Low amounts of everything else. Hopefully, oak season has finally come to an end. And 58 degrees today at noon, 65 for a high temperature. That's 15 degrees below normal. Another cold start tomorrow. As a matter of fact, the next couple of mornings are going to be on the cool side, and then we'll talk about some rain chances later on in the week. Overall, good looking week, though. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And just coming in, folks, you may see some news or some alerts about an accident, Highway 90 in Military Drive area. However, accident didn't happen on the roadway. Do y'all remember those gas shortages, the times when people were panicking, buying up gas?
Yeah.
It's a good thing we're not in that time, because this guy hit a gas pump.
Oh.
So not a good start to your work week on this Monday morning, but right now that's the only incident we have out there. Take a look at Hildebrand at I-10, eastbound and westbound lanes, still running smoothly. Mark and Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus. The pandemic not the only disaster disrupting lives here in the United States this week.
As CNN's John Lawrence reports, parts of the South are in shambles after deadly tornadoes plowed through the area.
Several tornadoes tear through Mississippi and Louisiana on Easter Sunday, overturning vehicles and damaging hundreds of structures.
We saw the tornado. We could tell it was going to be about a mile or so south of us, but you could hear it, and we knew that it was going to be bad.
Numerous deaths are already confirmed by the Mississippi State Emergency Management Agency. Governor Tate Reeves has issued a state of emergency due to the storms. A state of emergency is also declared in neighboring Louisiana.
We have hundreds of lines down, and this is going to take a long time for us to recover from. We're not going to recover from this in 2 or 3 days, not even 2 or 3 weeks.
Officials in Monroe say at least 200 homes are damaged from the storms, and residents there are advised to maintain social distancing due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We want the stay-at-home order to continue because we don't want individuals walking and creating some challenges for themselves, injury-wise. We don't want them driving over some of these power lines.
The storm system, which also tore through Alabama and Georgia, is heading up the East Coast, posing a threat all the way to Pennsylvania, with some areas seeing possible tornadoes, hail, and flash flooding. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And former Vice President Joe Biden laying out his vision on how to reopen the country after the coronavirus outbreak slows down. Now, Biden is calling for widespread testing, continued social distancing, and broader use of the Defense Production Act to provide healthcare supplies. He says hospitals need to be prepared for a possible flare-up of COVID-19 now when people go back to work. The presidential candidate says people should expect activities to gradually return, suggesting stores and workplaces open before arenas or other large venues. Now, Biden's comments come as President Trump's administration debates a potential reopening of the economy on May 1st.
Across the pond, Prince William says Britain is at its best when faced with a crisis. His message came the same day the UK coronavirus death toll passed 10,000. Earlier this week, William became the 2020 patron of the UK's National Emergencies Trust. That program directs public donations and funding for nonprofits. This weekend, he spoke with a number of different charities lacking some supplies amid the crisis.
And Britain Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been discharged from the hospital. He had been suffering from severe symptoms of the COVID-19 virus. He was diagnosed with the virus on March 27th. Now, a spokesman says he will not be immediately returning to work, and that, quote, he wishes to thank everybody for the brilliant care he has received, end quote.
5:35, 51 degrees on your Monday morning.
And still ahead, can COVID-19 be spread by food? What health experts are saying about this concern.
And next, across the country and around the world, the coronavirus forced millions of people to change the way they worshiped Easter.
And taking a look outside with the live cam, it is cold, it is windy, but you know what? It's going to be a pretty nice week. We're going to check in with Mike for the full details just ahead.
5:38 across the country and around the world. The coronavirus forced millions of people to change the way they worshiped this Easter. Some churches still held services against the wishes of authorities, while other churches got creative.
Overseas, Pope Francis addressing a nearly empty St. Peter's Basilica, while across Italy, priests took to rooftops with people listening from a safe distance away. ABC's Andrea Fujihi takes a look.
Social distancing forcing millions of people to change the way they worshipped this Easter.
Welcome to church this morning on Easter Sunday.
But some churches still opened their doors regardless of restrictions.
The intent from the beginning was for those who didn't feel comfortable to stay home, and then for those who did feel comfortable, the doors would be open.
This Kansas pastor preaching in person, despite the state Supreme Court upholding the governor's order limiting religious gatherings to 10 people. In Kentucky, police taking down license plates, warning them to quarantine for 2 weeks. In Mississippi, a Jackson City councilman handing out masks to people headed into worship.
Amen. Amen.
But a unique approach for many other churches, drive-in services. Drivers honking in praise in Bedford Hills, New York.
I like that.
Sitting safely inside their cars, listening to a sermon. And surreal scenes across the globe.
Bye, baby.
Pope Francis addressing a nearly empty St. Peter's Basilica. In Spain, Bolivia, Australia, striking images of empty pews. Parishioners watching live streams from the safety of their homes.
Amazing grace.
And opera singer Andrea Bocelli holding a concert from an empty Duomo in Milan.
I heard he was amazing.
Yeah.
It ran around noon our time yesterday, and I think it's available for replay on Andrea Bocelli's YouTube channel.
Yeah, I need to look it up. Very touching.
Andrea Fujihi reporting right now, 5:41, 51 degrees.
And coming up next, whether it's takeout or food from the grocery store, more on how you can make sure what you're eating is safe.
.543, welcome back. Even as we stay home and social distance, we still need to eat. That may mean the occasional trip to the grocery store or drive-through.
But one question that many people ask is, how safe is your food? Now, 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz on the risk as well as things you can do to keep your food safe.
Is your food safe? The CDC says there's no current evidence that COVID-19 is spread by food. While theoretically you could pick up an apple that an infected person touched, health experts say food isn't the bigger risk.
We believe that you have more of a chance of getting the coronavirus from another person that is not maintaining the social distancing than you can from fruits and vegetables.
Dr. James Rogers is Director of Food Safety Research at Consumer Reports. When it comes to raw produce, he says normal safety practices apply.
If we're talking about fruits and vegetables, you rinse them under running water. You use a scrub brush if they have a peel to scrub the outside. And then you eat them normally.
He says don't use soap. That can lead to a stomach illness. Cooking foods to the proper temperature, he says, should kill coronavirus, just as it kills E. coli or salmonella.
A lot of us are patronizing restaurants at the drive-thru or curbside. Is that safe?
We believe that getting your food from takeout is probably the least riskiest.
That's because of social distancing.
If you do takeout, you bring the food into your home, take off the outer wrapping and throw that away immediately.
If you're concerned, wipe down the packaging.
Or you can transfer that food into another container from your own kitchen that you know is clean.
As an extra precaution, zap hot takeout in your microwave. Wipe down surfaces and, most important, wash your hands before you eat. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
And more coronavirus trouble for Disney. Walt Disney World now plans to furlough another 43,000 workers starting next week. Disney World theme parks, which is owned by the parent of ABC News, were shut down in mid-March because of pandemic concerns.
Coral reefs are among the most unique ecosystems in the world, and they're in significant danger. But now there's a new mobile game that lets you help save that precious ocean life. A group of scientists from NASA have come up with a way to see coral in great detail. They created an app that can classify, determine the health of coral reefs. It's called NemoNet, and citizens just like you can join in and help by downloading the app. NemoNet available on the Apple App Store. You can find more information on NASA's website.
I was going to say, let's take a look at your picture.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
Yep, something's fishy over there in the weather lab right now, but let's see what's happening with traffic. Let's get an update now from Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Well, we do have that one accident, but it's not on the highways. But if you're driving along Highway 90 eastbound or westbound, you will see those flashing lights there at the gas station right there, Military Drive at Highway 90 on the axis. So just keep that in mind. Other areas still looking pretty good. You can see we're starting to get a few more vehicles on those eastbound main lanes of I-10. Westbound, not so much. And folks, remember, we all have to stay at home. That's social distancing, stay home, work safe. But that doesn't prevent you from checking in on friends and relatives. And if you have a suspicion that maybe somebody's going through a lot of stress, you need to check on the kids, best way to do it, FaceTime. Almost everybody has some type of mobile device, personal communication device that has that messaging capability where you could video with the kids. And you can tell a lot through pictures.
You sure can. Sure can. Absolutely. Great stress reliever for me, of course, is fishing now and then. It doesn't happen all the time, but my last two outings have been pretty successful.
Wow, look at the mouth on that one.
Yeah, exact. Wow. And the fish.
I knew that was coming. I just didn't know which one was going to do it.
Can they see the picture?
There's
there you
picture.
go. There you go.
And again, look at the mouth on that one and the fish. Anyway.
You guys are so silly.
I know we are. What is that? Largemouth bass?
Yeah, a largemouth bass. That one's just about 21.5 inches. So we're just like an inch or so away from another personal best. So another good day out on the water on Saturday.
Where were you?
This was the Guadalupe River, not too far from New Braunfels.
Okay. Great catch.
Yeah, caught 3 in total. It was a good day.
Fantastic. And you just catch and release, right?
I do.
Okay. You sure it's not the same fish you caught before?
I'm very sure. This one had a big head and a very skinny body.
His friends, he goes, hey, grab this one. He's going to put you back anyway.
So yeah, we practice what we call CPR. It's catch, pick, and release.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, fantastic.
That's cool.
All right. Great picture. Thank you very much for that. And
you're welcome.
Great fish story. So,
thanks.
Hey, beautiful. It was gorgeous yesterday. It's going to be gorgeous today if you want to head on outside with nice cool temperatures this morning. And now, is it better fishing when it's a little cooler out, or does it? I mean, for you, but Do the fish like it better?
The fish like it better right before a front comes through. Once that pressure drops, the bites tend to drop off.
Oh, interesting. Okay. 51 here in town, 47 in Bulverde, and 43 up the road in Comfort. So yes, very, very cool temperatures. We are now about anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees below normal. Very dry air. The dry air, of course, came in first yesterday. We started off with some of the humidity early in the morning. Dry air came in here. That allowed temperatures to skyrocket, and then overnight the actual kind of cool front has moved on in. Wind is out of the north still, 18 at the airport, 22 New Braunfels, 16 up the road over in Hondo, and wind gust to 31 in Hondo, 26 here in town, and 28 mile per hour wind gusts in Gonzales, and 30 in New Braunfels. So yes, we have some wind chills to deal with. It feels like freezing right now in Fredericksburg. 31 is the wind chill in Rock Springs. The other areas where temperatures are still at 50, the formulas don't come into play yet, but obviously it feels cooler out there this morning. And we're going to keep these just unseasonable temperatures around here, thanks in part to the humidity. Dew point temperatures are going to remain on the low side, and so that's going to allow temperatures to really cool down the next few mornings. So we'll be down in the 40s again the next couple of mornings, and then getting up into the upper 60s, close to 70, but still on the cool side, even for high temperatures. And maybe a couple of extra clouds here and there. Now, the clouds are definitely going to start to come back into the picture Thursday and then going into the weekend as the dew points come back up. So you'll notice the humidity by the weekend, and that's going to also, though, give us a chance for some rain. Nothing obviously is showing up in the satellite picture right now. And just a quick mention, this is going to be in the news later on today with more potential severe weather off along the Atlantic seaboard. Of course, that tornado outbreak down there in Mississippi, Alabama yesterday and over the weekend. Now, as far as what's going to be happening the rest of the week, it stays gorgeous through the first half, 2/3 of the week. A couple of extra clouds here and there, and then a lot more clouds Thursday. Chance of rain Friday, and then a little bit better chance of rain, it looks like, on Saturday. But overall, I think this week looks fantastic. And we're not going to be getting back up to normal high temperatures till probably Sunday. 58 degrees today at noon, wind out of the northeast, about 10, 20 miles per hour. The wind is going to ease up later on this afternoon, and then we'll have a high temperature of 65, so 15 degrees below normal. An absolutely beautiful day. Cool start again tomorrow, and a cool afternoon. Same thing on Wednesday. A couple of extra clouds here and there the next couple of days, but just beautiful. Partly cloudy skies on Thursday, and it's going to get up into the 70s then. Chance of rain Friday and Saturday, and then back to the mid-80s by Sunday.
All in all, a pretty darn good week.
Really good looking week.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Right now we are at 5:51. We are at 51 degrees.
And up next, how the U.S. Air Force's Thunderbirds are honoring medical workers on the front lines treating patients with coronavirus.
Look at those beautiful F-16s in formation. Here's your lotto numbers. Pick 3, 523, Fireball 3, Daily 4, 4398, Fireball 4.
Cash 5, 10, 13, 21, 31, 33. Lotto Texas 4, 5, 16, 24, 27, 40. And your Powerball numbers 22, 29, 30, 42, 47, Powerball 17, Power Play 3. Good luck.
Don't stand so close to me.
It may be the perfect quarantine song. Sting, joined by TV host Jimmy Fallon and his house band The Roots, sing the hit Don't Stand So Close to Me. And keeping with the theme of social distancing, they performed the song remotely from their own homes. With concert venues closed, Broadway shut down, music lovers have had to find clever ways for the show to go on, despite the pandemic. Lin-Manuel Miranda and the cast of Hamilton gave one young fan a virtual front row seat to the famous musical as the cast reunited from different locations on John Krasinski's YouTube show.
I'm going to do a little concert from my house on my piano, and who knows what will happen.
I will stay with you when no one else is.
Musicians like John Legend, Keith Urban and Pink have been treating fans to mini online concerts.
We are all so very grateful to all of the healthcare professionals across the country.
And just because you can't go to a music festival doesn't mean one can't come to you. Next Saturday, Lady Gaga is helping to put on a digital mega concert in connection with the World Health Organization and Global Citizen to raise money for healthcare workers fighting the virus.
On the road again, going places that I've never been.
And this weekend, a special at-home version of Farm Aid streamed online with performances by Willie Nelson and John Mellencamp.
And hopefully, at the end of this, there'll be greener pastures.
Just another way that music can help to soothe the soul. Robin Kerno, CNN, Atlanta.
All right, Military City, USA, check this out. The Air Force Thunderbirds doing their part to provide a much-needed distraction for COVID-19 patients and frontline healthcare workers. They're based at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, and they perform this flyover above every hospital in the Las Vegas Valley over the weekend. A view from the cockpit shows the squadron also flying down the famed Las Vegas Strip. Their hope to recognize first responders, healthcare professionals, and other workers who are on the front lines battling the coronavirus pandemic. Look at them go. A beautiful aircraft. Right now we're at about 3 till 51 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA. Parents should think twice before approving certain apps for their teens. We'll tell you which ones you might want to get rid of. And TransGuide right now. Let's take a look at some of those cameras around the metro area on your early Monday morning. Okay, we can't access the cameras right now, but I can tell you I can look over my shoulder at 10 in Hildebrand. We are seeing a few more cars on the roads. Officer Marcus Trujillo will tell us if there are any accidents that pop up here in the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Good morning, I'm Max Massey. Last night, Governor Greg Abbott extended the disaster declaration, and today he is expected to make another big announcement. I'll explain.
Is President Trump hinting at a possible rift between him and one of the top health experts on his coronavirus task force? I'm Alex Perche in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, it's a little chilly out there. Definitely grab a jacket or even more, at least for this morning. We're going to check in with Mike in just a bit.
And good morning to you. It is Monday. It is April 13th. Stephanie in for Leslie this morning.
Good morning.
Hi there. Good morning. You're going to need a couple things this morning. Maybe a jacket or two.
Yes.
And maybe some extra change for the car wash. Mike says we're looking pretty good for the first time in perhaps weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. This week looks great. Temperatures all week long are going to be a little bit below normals. And we do have some rain chances late in the week. But between now and then, just fantastic. Getting back to the jacket mention. Yeah, it's 48 in town, so we're about 10 degrees below normal right now. Low 40s in parts of the hill country. It is still windy out there. Winds are out of the north to northeast at about 15, 20 miles per hour, 22 in New Braunfels. We have wind gusts to 30 in town, as well as Hondo 22 in New Braunfels. So you mix it all together, and we have some wind chill readings to deal with. Mold is on the moderate side right now, and throughout the rest of today, temperatures are going to be mid to upper 40s, even some low 40s in the hill country, and we're going to make it up to the upper 50s by late this afternoon, by noontime, pardon me, and then later on this afternoon we're going to make it up into the mid 60s. That's it. So we'll be about 15 degrees below normal. The wind is not going to be as strong, but still there's going to be a nice little cool breeze out there. Roll down the windows, or maybe get your car washed today. It's going to be great. Temperatures will once again be in the 40s the next couple of mornings. We'll talk about those rain chances, see what's in store for the weekend coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo, and I see nothing but green on the map.
The highways look good. Now we do have that accident still in the clearance stages, but it's on the access road of Highway 90 right there at Military at the gas station in the parking lot. So not even on the access road itself. Let's take a look at a couple of TransGuide cameras. You can see that 281 in Hildebrand, no problems there. Just a handful of vehicles on those southbound main lanes. No problems here for traffic in either direction as we scroll onto a camera that actually has title on it. There we go. 35 at Benzinga, north and southbound lanes so far. Still looking great out there. Stephanie and Mark.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Well, one of our top stories this morning, we are expecting to hear from Governor Greg Abbott today, and there will be some interesting new information, hopefully some good news for small businesses here in the Lone Star State.
Let's go ahead and check in with our Max Massey, who joins us live.
Good morning, guys. Well, let's start with what Greg Abbott said yesterday, the governor extending that emergency declaration. Now, in part, this will allow to waive the regulations, make things easier for people, not only just business owners, but people in general, trying to, weather this storm, navigate through what we're all dealing with right now. As for what he is expected to speak about today, let's see if we can throw a graphic or some video up right now. It is set for 11:30 this morning. The governor is set to speak from the Capitol, and that is when he is expected to announce a new small business initiative in Texas. Now, small businesses across the state, across the country, and across the world have been ravaged by this coronavirus. Restaurants, retail shops forced to shut their doors or dramatically scale down on business. Again, guys, that press conference set for 11:30 a.m. and you can watch it live on KSAT.com. Mark, Stephanie, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Max. Well, cases of coronavirus here in Bexar County continue to grow and more people are dying as a result of that nursing home outbreak. Right now, there are 772 positive cases of COVID-19 in Bexar County and 30 people have died. 2 of the deaths announced yesterday, people at the Southeast Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Nearly a third of all cases in the county due to community spread. We are expecting the latest numbers tonight and expect them to continue to rise.
Some child abuse prevention advocates are calling the pandemic a perfect storm. Now, children at risk of abuse and neglect are locked in homes with parents, some ill-equipped to deal with the stress, anxiety, and uncertainty of the virus and its economic impact. So some worry the longer the crisis continues, it will lead to another epidemic of child abuse and neglect cases. Now, right now on KSAT.com, you can watch our Defenders team investigate some of those worries and what's being done to prevent it. We also have resources for families affected by child abuse on our website as well.
Visitors not allowed at the Bexar County Jail and access is limited as county officials worry about the spread of coronavirus inside. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf says he's very worried about an outbreak of COVID-19 in the jail after 2 more inmates were confirmed positive. He says crews will clean and sanitize cells every day and they'll magistrate inmates remotely. The judge says inmates coming into the jail will be placed in separate pods for 14 days for symptom monitoring as well. However, it's unclear right now when those extra isolation pods will be ready to use.
And new data is pushing the peak for coronavirus cases in Texas up to the end of April. The Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington School of Medicine predicts the peak in Texas will hit on April 26th. Now, this is a model many governments, including ones here in Texas, used to predict the pandemic. Up until this point, the peak was expected to hit on May 2nd. Right now, schools and many businesses are still closed until the beginning of May at the earliest.
Well, right now it is 6:06 as the nation battles COVID-19. New York may be seeing its death curve flattening. However, the numbers are still staggering.
Meanwhile, new hot zones are popping up in other states as another fight about President Trump's administration's preparedness is unfolding in our nation's capital. ABC's Alex Prochet has more from Washington.
The president says the key for the country reopening is for states to perfect their testing. Though now there are questions. Should this messaging and also guidance about social distancing have come from him sooner? This morning on the front lines, the newest crop of medical workers are ready for battle.
It wasn't an easy decision for everybody, but for me, it was the right thing to do. So
Rebecca Noonan, now a doctor, chose to graduate from medical school 1 month early. She will join the fight in New York City, where the hospitalization rate is dropping, but the crisis is far from over. New York State's coronavirus death rate has been in the high 700s for the last several days.
That's the so-called flattening of the curve. It has been flattening, but flattening at a terribly high level.
Across the country, other hot zones are emerging. In Pennsylvania, the governor now predicting a surge in cases this week. Cases in Texas already surging. The governor there considering opening some businesses next week despite caution from public health officials. Several governors have been critical of the federal response. And a coronavirus task force health expert admits government inaction may have cost American lives.
If you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But what goes into those kinds of decisions is complicated.
And overnight, the president continuing to defend his response, calling that New York Times report fake news. He also retweeted a message critical of Dr. Fauci that ended with the words, "Time to #fire Fauci." Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
New this morning, a man on the east side of town recovering from a gunshot wound to the leg. According to San Antonio police, officers initially responded to a shooting around 9 last night on Rigsby near South W.W. White. They say upon arrival, they did not find the victim, but did find about 15 shell casings from 2 different weapons. About an hour and a half later, the victim called again asking for help. Reportedly said he thought he twisted his ankle in a pothole and did not realize he'd been shot. The incident remains under investigation.
Also new this morning, San Antonio investigators are needing your help in identifying a man who they say attacked a realtor and took her vehicle. Now, according to an arrest affidavit, this man arrived at a home in the 300 block of Freeling with an unknown woman driving a single cab pickup. Now, the man got down and asked the realtor to see the home for sale. After the showing, the victim asked if he had locked the back door. When he replied no, she turned around and walked back into the house and was pushed down hard by the man. Now, then he reportedly ran outside, got inside the victim's vehicle and drove away. If you have any information that could be helpful to police, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number on your screen, 210-224-STOP.
Time check right now. We are approaching 10 minutes after the hour. Temperatures running in the low 50s and even colder than that in some places.
That's right. And Apple and Google working to help users know if they have COVID-19. We're going to see how they're operating the system through phones.
The NBA out of commission right now, but there is a plan for it to come back. We'll see when we can expect to see a little basketball after the break.
And taking a live look outside with Live Cam. It is cold, chilly, and it's going to get colder, but overall, nice week. So I can't wait to hear about that from Mike. Stay tuned.
We still don't know when most professional sports will return, but the NBA is apparently getting ready with a plan. According to ESPN, executives and trainers are discussing a 25-day plan for the season to resume. It involves an 11-day series of individual workouts that includes social distancing, followed by a 14-day training camp once they get clearance to play 5-on-5 basketball. According to the commissioner, Adam Silver, there won't be any decisions made until sometime next month. And remember, you can get the best sports coverage in town on KSAT's own Instant Replay. Our sports team works to give you the top stories from the community, state, and nation. Tune in every Sunday at 11 p.m. Be sure to follow Instant Replay on social media.
And Fiesta 2020 may be delayed until November, but KSAT thinks we could all use a little Fiesta this April. So we will re-air all of last year's Fiesta parades on KSAT 12 to help give everyone a little break from the coronavirus. You can watch the Cavaliers River Parade on April 20th, the Battle of Flowers Parade on April 24th, and the Fiesta Flambeau Parade on April 25th. So to see what times we will air those parades, you can head to our website at KSAT.com. And remember, you can watch them on our website and KSAT TV as well.
As we know, the pandemic has closed bars around town. That doesn't mean you can't get a margarita or classic cocktail. KSAT gathered a list of places around the Alamo City offering cocktails to go. You can buy a kit to make them at home during the stay home, work safe order. Some include classics like classical spots like Mi Tierra, La Gloria, and Sangria on the Berg, but there are dozens and dozens more.
This weekend, we gathered a list of things to do while social distancing at home. We have a packed list of crafts, meals to cook, science experiments, music to listen to, and much more. You can explore local bands, try out new recipes, and learn some new games. So just head to KSAT.com and search things to do to learn more.
If you missed our Siempre Salinas special last night, don't you worry, you can still watch it. Our full hour-long special that aired yesterday is now on KSAT.com and KSAT TV.
Members of the KSAT team worked for months to put this together. They interviewed members of Salinas' family, bandmates, and Los Dinos, and more. So to see our special honoring the Queen of Tejano music, just searched Selena on KSAT.com.
Time to check traffic right now with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And right now, right now, Mark and Stephanie, as we take a look at the map, still looking pretty good, no issues. Let's take a look at a couple of TransGuide cameras. Right now, 90 at Military, traffic starting to pick up on those eastbound lanes, but Tweedywood and Hildebrand, traffic in both directions, still has more than enough room out there. So just make sure you buckle up once you head out and also watch that following distance. Put away those distractions. 35 at Ben Ziegelman, north and southbound lanes, still looking pretty good right now.
Back to what you're talking about next week. re-airing all of the parades and everything like that. So we're calling it Fiesta at Home. So make sure you send in pictures. Take pictures.
Yeah, we're going to have watch parties from our houses on Zoom and things like that, if I recall.
Yeah, we're having a couple of special shows at SA Live, pre-show to the Battle of Flowers parade. And we put up our Fiesta wreath on the door.
Yeah. Are we allowed to make fun of ourselves while watching our own parades?
Sure, why not?
If not, I'll make fun of you.
Thank you, Marcus.
We do when you're on the... No, I'm kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
And the whole point being, just to kind of hopefully get your mind off everything. So
no, I'm glad we're doing this.
And it's fun doing the virtual watch parties and everything. So
Yep, I'm looking forward to that too.
Next week.
And that's all coming up next week. Yeah, so. All right, take a look at this.
Beautiful.
My goodness gracious. A whole blanket and bed of Indian paintbrush flowers. That is gorgeous looking. Thank you so very much for the KSAT Connect picture. And again, take all those pictures, especially as you get kind of going for the at-home fiesta next week. Clear skies right now. Sunrise should be just spectacular. A couple of stars are already showing up. 46 in Balverde, Canyon Lake, 48 at the airport, 49 at Stinson, and really, really dry air. The dry air moved in, of course, yesterday morning. It was fairly humid right as the sun was coming up, and then the dry air came in there, allowed temperatures to really heat up. Then the colder air started moving on in here. We've got northerly wind at about 17 miles per hour at the airport, 22 at New Braunfels, and then the gusts on top of that up to 30 at the airport and 30 in Hondo. And so wind chill temperatures, it feels like 42 degrees outside right now. 34 Kerrville, Fredericksburg, and it feels like it's 31 degrees right now in Rock Springs. Yep, it's chilly out there, and we're going to keep the dry air around for the next couple of days, and so that's going to allow temperatures to be on the cooler side in the mornings, and then the humidity starts to come back up, so dew points will make it back up into the mid-60s once we get in toward Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's going to help out with some rain chances. Now, the air is dry here at the surface, also upstairs in the atmosphere. This kind of tannish color, that was the air that we had upstairs yesterday, and that's why it was just so beautifully blue out there, and it's still very dry, even this darker shade of gray. A lot of the moisture loft in the atmosphere as well up there to the north, so this means we're going to have plenty of sunshine and beautiful blue skies all day long. A couple of extra clouds are possible tomorrow. Same thing on Wednesday, one or two more. I think we'll have partly cloudy to maybe partly sunny skies on Thursday. And still great weather as far as temperatures are concerned, still below normal readings. Then we have a chance of rain coming in here Friday as well as on Saturday. Now, as far as temperatures around the country, yeah, it's definitely cold out there. A lot of below freezing readings as of right now. Wind chill temperatures are down to 0. Casper as well as in Cut Bank, Wyoming. And it's going to, like I said, stay on the cool side throughout the rest of the week. Just gorgeous weather. Beautiful sunshine, 58 degrees today at noon with northeasterly wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So a little bit breezier in the first half of the day. And then the winds are going to be easing up somewhat this afternoon. 65 for a high temperature with nothing but sunshine. Beautiful sunrise, beautiful sunset. And tomorrow, about the same thing. We start off in the 40s, get up into the upper 60s. Same thing on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll make it up into the mid 70s. And a few more clouds around here. And then with the humidity really coming back into the picture, we will stay at 60 Friday morning. So a little bit closer to normal readings on Friday morning. But as far as high temperatures, we're not going to make it above normal until Sunday at 85. Yeah.
I will enjoy this break we have.
Love this. This is great.
Yeah, we're grinning for sure this morning.
Bring this back in July.
I love that.
That'd be nice.
That's just not going to happen, but it's nice to think about. Thank you so much, Mike. 6:20 right now, where current temperature is
48.
Thank you. I knew that was going to happen.
All right, sounds good.
Well, with some long lines and some short supplies at supermarkets, shoppers are getting very creative to stock their kitchens. We have more in your GMA First Look.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a hot dog or kolache. We are Circle K.
Superhammer just about sleeps in her cave, but when we realized she was battling sensitive skin, we switched to new Tide Plus Downy Free. It's gentle on her skin and dermatologist recommended. New Tide Pods Plus Downy Free. Safe for sensitive skin with eczema and psoriasis.
Wow, that's Ensure Max Protein with high protein and 1 gram sugar.
It's a sit-up, banana, bend at the waist. Trying. Keep it up. You'll get there. Whoa!
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein.
Eating and drinking healthy things that are acidic, it's negatively impacting your enamel. Thinning and yellowing can happen as a result of that. Pronamel is a proactive solution designed to help protect your enamel.
Galia's obsessed with Oscar. Her first word was doggy as soon as she saw him. Dada. Just like that. Can you give Oscar a kiss? Oh, good job. Yeah. Oscar's family, so I feed him blue.
In this morning's GMA First Look, thinking outside the box to get those much-needed groceries. This may look like a convenience store shelf, but oh no, it's a restaurant.
Selling these provision items is a great way to give back to the neighborhood that maybe can't leave their house right now or doesn't want to leave their house. While they're ordering food from us, they're able to tack on a lot of the grocery items.
Local restaurants like this pivoting to sell grocery items that would otherwise be used for serving diners.
Get Panera delivered today.
And even big national chains joining in. Panera opening a grocery pickup and delivery service out of their noted bread restaurants. Another delivery option seeing growth, meal kits. Blue Apron telling us subscriptions are up dramatically. Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you more creative sources for your grocery supplies. Plus, Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran joins us live with her financial advice. With your GMA First Look, I'm Becky Worley, ABC News, Oakland.
I started building.
Some big tech companies are collaborating to track coronavirus infections with your phone. Apple and Google are working on enabling smartphones to tell you whether you've been exposed to the disease. It would use the Bluetooth signal on your phone, but the tech giants say it will not roll out for several months.
Jennifer Lopez and Diddy were back together again nearly 20 years after they broke up, joining forces in the fight against the coronavirus. The exes reunited virtually for Diddy's dance-a-thon on Instagram Live to raise money for medical supplies. J-Lo's fiance, Alex Rodriguez, even joined in, along with many other celebrities.
And there will not be any new emojis next year. The nonprofit that oversees emoji says 2021 will not see any new ones because of the fallout from the pandemic. But do not worry, there's a new set of 117 new animated emojis ready to be released in the fall.
Okay, well, so there's that. Right now it's 6:25, 48 degrees out of San Antonio International Airport.
The FDA issuing their third emergency authorization this year, still ahead how they're helping keep healthcare workers around the country and here in San Antonio safer during the pandemic.
And a look at the aftermath after tornadoes moved through parts of the U.S. over the Easter Sunday holiday. Hundreds of homes and businesses affected throughout the South.
And taking a look outside with TransGuide this morning, there's Loop 410 at 151. If you have to head out, roads don't look too bad right now, but we're going to check in with Marcus in just a bit.
We now have more than 13,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in Texas. Good morning, I'm Max Massey. Governor Greg Abbott reacting to these numbers. I'm going to explain what he said last night and what he is expected to say later today.
And it was an Easter like no other. We will see how the pandemic changed expectations and how it's affecting the world today.
And remember, for days last week, they were talking about cool temperatures, downright cold in places to start out this week. Well, we're there. Good morning, everybody. As you see the beginning of that sunrise out there, it's going to be a beautiful day. It is Monday. It is April 13th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, we're here.
We're here. When so is Marcus and so is Mike. And we're talking about a situation out there with dry roads and very comfortable conditions.
Yeah, so far, highways have actually been pretty good this morning.
That's good.
In the past couple of weeks, we've had unexpected accidents, big accidents, but this morning so far, pretty good.
Yeah, and take some sunglasses and grab a coat. Who would have thought we'd be saying that yesterday when we got up to 85 degrees, but you definitely need a jacket around there this morning. And obviously, we're seeing the early signs of the sunrise. When was the last time we saw a sunrise this beautiful? I can't remember, but oh my goodness gracious, it is gorgeous out there. But it's chilly, 48 degrees. The normal low temperature is upper 50s. So right now, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below normal. We've got some really dry air in place, and it is still breezy out there. So the wind chill feels like 42 in town. 33 lost Maples, Kerrville, heading out toward Rock Springs. It feels like it is below freezing right now. Wind chill of 41 in New Braunfels. Wind is out of the north at still 17 miles per hour out there at the airport. 22 New Braunfels and Austin. Wind gusts close to 30 in places. Yeah, it's breezy. Winds are going to be easing up a little bit by later on this afternoon, but still a slight breeze out there. Mold is on the moderate side. It should be dropping down the next couple of days, given the fact that the air is going to continue to dry out. So clear, cool, windy this morning. Sunny, cool, just absolutely gorgeous today, but temperatures are going to be about 15 degrees below normal later on today. Another chilly start tomorrow, and still on the cool side in the afternoon. Basically the same thing on into Wednesday, and then we start to see the humidity come back in here. More clouds Thursday, and then Friday, some rain chances move on in here Friday, and it looks like on Saturday, but still high temperatures are going to be below normal all the way through Saturday. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now, and you haven't had any accidents to talk about?
It's been very pleasant this morning on the highway, so those folks that do have to get up and venture out, so far nothing but great news for you as far as the road conditions. So the roads are dry, and as you take a look, we're starting to get a little bit better light out there. So visibility is going to be great in just a few more minutes. 35 at Evans, north and southbound lanes, no problems all the way through 35 at 410 up on the northeast side. Moving over to 37 at Jones here in the downtown vicinity. So far, no issues for the north or the southbound lanes. Currently, all travel times are well within the normal travel time range. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, sir. Texas now has more than 13,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus.
Governor Greg Abbott addressed those numbers in a press conference last night where he extended the emergency declaration in the state.
Max Massey joins us live downtown here in San Antonio. So what does this all mean, Max?
Good morning, guys. Well, it basically allows provisions to be dropped and regulations to be dropped and waived for the time being. We don't know when that disaster declaration will be extended to. As for today, Governor Greg Abbott is expected to speak at 11:30 later this morning from the state capitol, and that's when he's expected to announce a new small business initiative. We are still waiting for the exact details of this small initiative, but we do know that the president and CEO of Lyft Fund and the president and COO of Goldman Sachs are expected to participate in that press conference. We all know restaurants and local retail shops have been forced to shut their doors or dramatically scale down business. Now, more than 760,000 Texans have applied for unemployment insurance. We know that the virus continues to spread here in Texas, and experts said that we haven't likely seen the peak yet, but the governor and other state officials have expressed confidence that social distancing has been working. And remember, late last week, the governor did indicate that he has plans to reopen the economy once the worst has passed. As for that small business initiative press conference, again, that is 11:30 later this morning, and he will be live from the state capitol. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Max. The Food and Drug Administration authorizing the use of decontamination system for N95 respirators. Now, those are devices healthcare workers can use to protect themselves against the coronavirus. The FDA says more than 6,000 hospitals already have the decontamination, including a university hospital here in San Antonio. Now, this is the third emergency authorization from the FDA this year.
Just about 6:35 across the country and around the world, the coronavirus forced millions of people to change the way they worship this Easter. Here at home, some churches still held services against the direction of local authorities, while other churches got creative.
Overseas, Pope Francis addressed a nearly empty St. Peter's Basilica, while across Italy, priests went up on rooftops with parishioners listening from a safe distance away. ABC's Andrea Fujihi has more.
Social distancing forcing millions of people to change the way they worshipped this Easter.
Welcome to church this morning on Easter Sunday.
But some churches still opened their doors regardless of restrictions.
The intent from the beginning was for those who didn't feel comfortable to stay home, and then for those who did feel comfortable, the doors would be open.
This Kansas pastor preaching in person, despite the state Supreme Court upholding the governor's order limiting religious gatherings to 10 people. In Kentucky, police taking down license plates, warning them to quarantine for 2 weeks. In Mississippi, a Jackson City councilman handing out masks to people headed into worship.
Amen. Amen.
But a unique approach for many other churches, drive-in services. Drivers honking in praise in Bedford Hills, New York.
I like that.
Sitting safely inside their cars, listening to a sermon. And surreal scenes across the globe.
Padre.
Pope Francis addressing a nearly empty St. Peter's Basilica. In Spain, Bolivia, Australia, striking images of empty pews, parishioners watching live streams from the safety of their homes.
Amazing grace.
And opera singer Andrea Bocelli holding a concert from an empty Duomo in Milan.
That was Andrea Fujii reporting. In your morning consumer news, the world's biggest energy producers in ending a brutal price war. OPEC and its allies have agreed to cut oil production by nearly 10 million barrels a day, the largest amount ever. The deal comes after weeks of Russia and Saudi Arabia driving oil prices down to their lowest in more than 18 years. On Sunday, the two leaders and President Trump expressed satisfaction with the agreement.
Some airlines are balking at some of the terms in the $50 billion bailout for the industry. The Wall Street Journal says the airlines thought the money would be in the form of grants. Instead, the Treasury Department is saying some will have to be repaid, and the airlines will have to offer stock warrants on about 10% of the loans.
There are new worries about pork supplies. Smithfield Foods says it will keep a South Dakota plant closed indefinitely after it was linked to over 200 cases of COVID-19. That plant alone accounts for up to 5% of all U.S. pork production.
Walt Disney World now plans to furlough another 43,000 workers starting next week. Disney World theme parks owned by the parent of ABC News were shut down in mid-March.
Well, strong storms hit the South hard on Sunday. 6 people died from a tornado in southern Mississippi alone.
Meanwhile, hundreds of homes and other buildings are destroyed in a Louisiana town, and Central Texas also reporting a tornado. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest.
Overnight, severe storms wreaking havoc across the South. Multiple tornadoes touched down.
Got a funnel cloud right here in front of me,
leaving nearly 500,000 people without power and forcing several states to declare emergencies.
Everything just ripped off and everything was gone. It was gone.
In Mississippi, several people were killed, including a sheriff's deputy and his wife.
It was a major tragedy.
The ferocity of the storm is evident in the aftermath. Trees, trucks, even tractor trailers were toppled by the wind. Residents were forced to ignore coronavirus protocols and huddled together at a shelter to stay safe. In neighboring Alabama, police shutting down an entire town late Sunday. Going door to door after storms tore a trail of heavy damage across neighborhoods.
Wow.
Earlier in the day, victims were wheeled out on stretchers when a tornado caused this building to buckle.
Lord Jesus, come on, move!
And in Louisiana,
Look at oh my God, look at the house, y'all, oh my God, look!
The path of destruction clear after a twister tore through the city of Monroe.
This is a terrible, terrible situation.
Some houses seemingly untouched, but just feet away, houses completely gutted, roofs torn off, leaving nothing but scaffolding and rubble. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Right now, back here at home on your Monday morning, it's about 6:40, 48 degrees.
And parents might want to think twice before approving certain apps for their teen. We're going to tell you which ones might be risky. That's after the break.
Welcome back. 6:43. 1 in 5 teens who regularly log onto the internet say they have received an unwanted sexual solicitation. Yet only 25% of them actually told a parent about that.
So cell phones make it so easy for your teen to connect with strangers. Our Erica Hernandez reports on some apps to watch out for so you can keep your child safe.
95% of teens in the U.S. own a cell phone or a tablet. These devices make communication a cinch, but it also makes it easier for sexual predators to target your kids. Hi. Experts say criminals are taking advantage of online apps. Kik allows anyone to contact and directly message your child. Whisper is an anonymous social networking app that promotes sharing secrets with strangers. Hot or Not lets users rate others' profiles, check out people in their area, and chat with strangers. Ask.fm encourages users to allow anonymous people to ask them questions. Calculator is a secret app that allows your teen to hide photos, videos, files, and browser history. To protect your child, make sure you approve every app on their phone before they download it. Also tell them never to post their address, phone number, or location, or respond to numbers they don't know. And be aware, TikTok and Snapchat are very popular, but more and more often, sexual predators are posing as teens on these sites. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
And a San Francisco man offering free coffee to essential workers.
Ben Ramirez says he's been training to be a barista. He has lots of coffee making supplies at home because he wants to open his own shop. Well, for now, he's just putting out a free coffee sign outside his opening window and offering a little pick-me-up to passers-by.
A lot of people have actually been very thankful having just like a space to come get your coffee and talk to somebody for a second. Kind of makes it feel like they're back in their kind of routine.
So to maintain social distancing, Ramirez is using his son's Gorilla Claw toy to hand out coffee to people.
Did we show that part, the Gorilla Claw?
I was looking for it, yeah.
I missed that part. That's probably one of the best parts of the story, right?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he's being so generous.
Yes, that's a very good thing.
6:45 on your Monday morning.
Let's check in with Marcus Trujillo.
It's all fun and games till the coffee slips out of the Gorilla Claw.
Somebody gets hurt.
Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, still no accidents on the highways. 37 at Jones Avenue, you can see north and southbound lanes there. Still running smoothly with no problems there. 35 at Bamsey. Moving on to some other areas, we're moving over to 21 at Grayson. There around that curve, you can see north and southbound lanes still no issues. Just watch your speed today because it's real easy during today's driving conditions for you to let that speed get away from you. No problems here. I-10 and Frio for the inbound or the outbound lanes there, as you see the city skyline in the background. But all in all, not a bad time out there on the roadway.
Not at all. Easter weekend has now come and gone. And tell you what, this is the time of year that parts of the Texas Hill Country are just a little slice of heaven, aren't they, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, what a great idea, you know, going for a walk or just going for a little drive, as is the case behind me here. This is one of the prettiest. Look at how gorgeous that picture is. An Easter Sunday Hill Country drive, the rolling hills, a little bit of Indian paintbrush there, some of the blue bonnets. Oh, that's a great looking picture. Yeah, just go for a little bit of a drive. Make sure you take some pictures and send them on in. Get the KSAT weather app, and it's right down there at the bottom of it where you can post the KSAT Connect pictures. All right, what a spectacular, speaking of good looking pictures, sunrise, and it's one of the prettiest ones we've seen in a long time. Notice how the camera is shaking because it's still fairly breezy out there. It's cold. I mean, we've got low 40s in parts of the Hill Country, 43 Helotes, 45 Bulverde, 48 at Randolph right now, and very dry air in place down here at the surface, and that's what moved in yesterday. Of course, in the morning we started off, still had some humidity. Then the dry air came in fairly quickly. That allowed things to really heat up in the afternoon, but that's not going to be the case this morning because now the cooler air has moved on in here. Wind is out of the north at 17 miles per hour at the airport, 22 New Braunfels, 18 Hondo, and wind gusts still close to 30. And that's why that camera was shaking. So we have wind chill readings down to 31 in Rock Springs, 33 Kerrville, 42 in Gonzales, and 38 in Austin. Yep, jacket weather this morning. You're going to need a jacket the next couple of mornings. Humidity and dew points, therefore, are going to be staying very low the next couple of days, but then the humidity, the dew points are going to be coming back up as we're going toward the weekend. So that's going to help out with more clouds. It's going to keep low temperatures on the, well, closer to normal, if you will, and also help out with some rain chances as we approach the weekend. Still got some very, very dry air. This was just the bone dry air yesterday upstairs in the atmosphere, and this darker shade of gray indicates some really dry air, which means we're going to have some beautiful blue skies out there, and we're really not going to see any substantial change in the weather until the latter half of the week. So a couple of clouds are going to be around here tomorrow. A couple of more clouds on Wednesday. Still cool mornings, nice afternoons. More clouds around on Thursday. Then a chance of rain comes in Friday, and that chance of rain sticks around into Saturday. We got temperatures down in the low teens up there in northern portions of the Rockies, and the wind chill now is 2 degrees below zero at Cut Bank, Montana. So yes, a late season Arctic blast covering a good chunk of the country. 58 degrees today at noon. Plenty of sunshine out there. Still a decent breeze. And then later on this afternoon, 65. So we'll be 15 degrees below normal. Normal high temperature is 80 this time of year. Tomorrow, same situation, starting off 48, getting up to 68, a couple of extra clouds. About the same situation on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll make it up into the mid-70s, and then the low temperatures really stay up as the humidity works its way back in here, but that's going to lead to some rain chances then by Friday and Saturday.
But today,
oh, fantastic.
We can watch
yeah.
Car, yeah.
Oh, I want to walk outside right now and take a look at that sunrise.
It's pretty
okay.
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 But I'll finish this first.
Door's right back there.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike's showing me the door. Not surprised. That's okay. 6:49, 48 degrees.
The coronavirus, not the only pandemic we're battling. Depression is considered a modern health pandemic as well. Join us tomorrow on GMSA, where we see how trying too hard to be happy can cause depression in adults.
And yet, Mike, I don't have to leave the room because
there you
we
go.
have live cam. We can all enjoy that sunrise. You're watching Good Morning San Antonio live here on KSAT. The news you need to know before you go is coming up.
Coming up here on GMA, an active morning with severe storms, tornadoes happening as we speak, but we have to talk about the coronavirus outbreak and the signs of hope that are happening here in New York State. The curve flattening potentially, but many difficult days are still ahead. New hotspots are emerging and there's more help on the way. The new doctors joining the front lines. We will have that and so much more coming up right here on Good Morning America.
We now have 772 confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in Bexar County, more than 13,000 across the state of Texas. Good morning, I'm Max Massey. Governor Greg Abbott responding to these numbers, extending the disaster declaration for the Lone Star State. But here's the thing, he did not announce when it is expected to be extended until. Now, the governor is expected to make another announcement later this morning at 11:30 a.m. The governor is expected to announce a small business initiative. We're still waiting for the exact details of what this entails, but we do know that more than 760,000 Texans have filed for unemployment. And at the press conference today at the Capitol, the governor expected to be joined by the president and CEO of Lyft Fund and the president and COO of Goldman Sachs via Zoom. Again, that press conference set for 11:30 this morning at the Capitol. Reporting downtown, Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Man on the east side of town recovering from a gunshot wound to the leg. According to San Antonio police, officers initially responded to a shooting around 9 last night on Rigsby at South WW White. They say upon arrival, they did not find the victim, but found 15 shell casings from 2 different weapons. About 90 minutes later, the victim called asking for help. He reportedly said he thought he twisted his ankle in a pothole and did not realize he'd been shot. The incident remains under investigation.
Let's take one last look at traffic with Marcus Trujillo.
And as we take a look at the downtown area right now, 37 at Jones, you can see north and southbound lanes running smoothly. No problems at 35 at Bamsey, all the way through 35 at Evans. And take a look here at 37, 35, the interchange, looking back towards the sunrise. No issues just yet. So all in all, not a bad time on the roadways. We had a very pleasant commute today with no incidents on the highways.
Speaking of sunrise, yeah, boy, it's going to be popping over the horizon in just a minute. Just absolutely gorgeous out there. Grab a coat. We're now down to 47 in town, 41 up the road toward Bernie, as well as in Kerrville. And there's a wind chill. It feels like 32 right now up around Bernie Stage, 40 at the airport. And winds are still very strong. They're going to ease up a little bit later on this afternoon, but we're only going to make it up to 65 degrees today, about 15 degrees below normal. Plenty of sunshine out there, about the same situation the next couple of days, and then we do have some rain chances as we head in toward the weekend.
Fabulous forecast.
No, it's great.
Beautiful. No complaints here.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks
Have a
for
great
joining
day.
us.
Good Morning America is next.